is a lie. It's a lie perpetrated by the author of Sleepy Hollow, Washington Irving, who decided to write an embellished biography of Columbus, who then, in 1800s, the Italians adopted and decided to promote as a hero. This is what has been taught for years and years, and this should be taught no more. Truth is, Columbus never set foot on American soil. Columbus landed in Haiti. He landed in the Dominican Republic. He landed in several Caribbean islands, and what did he do? He slaughtered the millions of people that were already there. Why are we still celebrating this man? This is why culturally responsive education is needed in all NYC schools. Right now, we may think that racism has increased and it's on the rise. Truth is, it's always been here. But because of the political background that we have going on right now, people feel more comfortable and feel more empowered and emboldened that they can spread their hate more openly because they see it on TV and in tweets every day. Culturally responsive education will help with this narrative going on to these people. If they were taught from the time they were little the true history, they may not have grown up with such hate in their hearts. Racism is woven deeply into the American fabric, and it's systematic, and it's sad to say, but it permeates our public school system. Why is 85% of the students in our schools people of color, students of color? But why is the teaching staff 60% white? How are our children supposed to learn where they're from if they don't see teachers that reflect them? These teachers view our students as menacing, as dangerous, as threatening. They view our students as less likely to succeed and most likely won't go to college.
Amen.
We need CRE training for these teachers, for them to understand the backgrounds, the diverse cultures, and how every student should be treated with respect. When my children open a book, I want them to see themselves in those pages. I don't want them reading books of other people. Children who see themselves reflected in the curriculum do better in school because they're more engaged. When they see themselves reflected in a positive light, they are more likely to succeed. Why am I passionate about this? I have 4 children, and I want them to know that their history did not start at slavery, that they were descendants of kings and queens and empires, and that they were builders in technology, and that they come from something other than an oppressed group. Slavery is just a blip on the chain of history for us. That is not the only piece of history for us. And every group, the United States is looked at as one of the most culturally diverse countries in the world. So everybody's culture should be reflected in schools. It should not just be one European history taught to all of us, as if that is the only history there is. People of color, we need to make sure that they understand that without us, there is no history. They are walking into safe havens where there is no racism, where there is no Islamophobia, where there is no misogyny. All of those. There should be no biases in any school, no homophobia, none of that. When they walk into a New York City public school, they should feel comfortable, confident, and safe. And the way that they can feel that is if all teachers are trained in CRE. This is why we're here today. Now we're going to call up our first speaker, Saima Muhammad. She is of Brooklyn, Paris. Hello? Can you hear me?
Nada. Give it everything.
I'm like cooking everything.
Can you hear me? No.
Big voice.
Alright. So this is beautiful, by the way. I'm so excited to be here. Last fall, my 9-year-old daughter was introduced to the history of New York State in 4th grade in social studies class. She learned that the native Iroquois and Algonquin of New York State live near rivers, they live near streams, they fished and hunted for their livelihood. The unit ended with a project in which she and her classmates made dioramas of wigwams and longhouses. The traditional homes of the Iroquois and Algonquin tribes. The class then moved on to a more in-depth study of colonialism, where they dived much deeper into the colonial Dutch that inhabited and occupied New York. As I discussed with her what she learned in school about Native Americans, I realized she thought Indigenous people only lived a long time ago, and they were not a civilized society. It was just the same romanticized version of history that I learned in elementary school almost 30 years ago. Instead, I wanted her to come away with knowing who Indigenous people are, that they're alive today, that they're cultured, resilient people with a rich history and arts, with diverse languages, and with an unbreakable connection to the earth and to the environment. I wanted her to see colonialism from the native perspective, instead of in the whimsical way it was taught. I wondered, how will she think about current issues that Native Americans are dealing with? Will she sympathize with oppressed people elsewhere in the world if she hasn't been taught the historical struggles and adaptation that Native Americans went through right here in our own countries? How will our children gain the tools and wisdom necessary to overturn racism and bias without knowing its roots in colonialism? I have hope in my daughter to grow up and help make the world a better place. We all have hope in our future generation. But without being exposed in schools to accurate history and diverse perspective, I'm afraid history will continue to repeat itself and progress will be stunted. Thankfully, there are many parents and teachers and educators that are passionate about giving our children a more unbiased and complete history education. I've had the fortune of meeting with many of them and with CJ, doing great work. And we're trying to come up with supplemental curriculums to disperse to schools, educators, to elevate what they learn, what our children are learning starting in 4th grade about Native Americans. So again, just to reiterate what you guys are saying, it's so important for teachers to have anti-bias staff trainings, to have access to more culturally responsive education. Children should be immersing themselves in this rich culture of Indigenous people when they come to this unit in social studies. They should learn about the arts, the beautiful culture that is still alive today. They shouldn't think that it was just a long time ago. Just this morning, my son said, "Wait, we're going to see Native Americans. How old are they?" I said, "They're just like Mama and Baba. They're the same age as us. Like, they're not super old." Yeah, and I do have great faith in New York State, New York City, the most diverse city in the United States, that we will be the forefront in this to change our curriculum, to make our schools, our public education better for our children.
So now we are going to be blessed with a performance and teaching by a dancer group. I'm not going to butcher the name, so Ms. Araceli is going to come up and introduce. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jabron Raya.
All right. It's working, right? ¿Está trabajando? ¿Sí me escuchan? All right, all right. ¿Cómo están? How is everybody? Good. All right. This is beautiful. Thank you so much. Muchas gracias. So, Master por 13, and I would love to take all the questions. I love that you're raising your hand. So wait 1 second. Thank you. Yeah, teaching, right? We want to learn. The kids want to learn. And it's awesome that so many are here today instead of, you know, there's some celebrations, right? Celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day. And you know, even though that's something, it's also insulting that you go to Columbus Circle and you see a big statue of this, you know, quote-unquote hero. You know, he's not a hero to me, he's not a hero to us, as some people have said. We know better, we know our history, we know who we are. So I come from Mexico, I was born there. Our group is representing indigenous culture from Mexico. That's right. And you know, we know who we are. And it's so important to not forget, never forget our ancestors, never forget our roots. You know, I went to Puerto Rico one year and one brother said, oh, the Taínos are dead. I said, oh my God, what are you talking about? That's what they want us to think, right? They want us to think that we're not here to be disconnected from each other, from our history, from our spirituality, from Mother Earth. And look at the world we're in. So what we do is we offer this tradition ceremonially. We offer it as a sacred tradition. You know, all people are sacred people. Life is sacred. And that has to do with values, valores, having values of respect, of community, respect for ourselves, respect for Mother Earth, respect for tradition, respect for our elders. You know, so this is what we do with danza. Danza is part of that. And, you know, we're going to be dancing at the Smithsonian Museum, the National Museum of the American Indians. So that institution, which is down by Wall Street, very ironic. You know, Wall Street was a wall built to keep the natives out. That's why it's called Wall Street. Crazy, right? And of course now it's a financial center. So we have that museum there. And what's beautiful, it's going to be our 15th year that we dance there for Dia de los Muertos. How many of you have heard Dia de los Muertos? So all traditions, Haiti, for example, of course, Africa, Asia, all traditions honor their ancestors, not just Mexico. Yes, it's part of our tradition, of course, and it's beautiful to be in that museum, 15 years now, so you're all invited. But the reason I'm saying this is because some people in that institution recognize us, Mexicanos, as indigenous people to this continent, to this land. That means we belong here. This place is ours. That's right. So, and same with the island people. The island people are part of this Mother Earth. It's one Earth, one people. So sometimes when I say we do Native American dancing, they say, where are you? Wait, but you're from Mexico. I said, that's right, we're native to the Americas. Right? These conquerors, quote unquote, explorers, found the Americas. And now we want to celebrate that they found it. We've been here all along. And you know what? We're still here. We're still here. We never left. They want to displace us with gentrification. They want to displace us from our own spirit and mind, but we know who we are. And we're proud of it. Right? Proud to be Mexicas. Some people say Aztec. Mexica is better. That's where the word Mexico comes from. And that's where our dances come from. Proud to be from Quisqueya. How many people from Quisqueya here? Yes? From Borinquen, from Haiti, from Jamaica, all these lands that are part of this Mother Earth have indigenous names, and we are indigenous people. So we don't need a day to celebrate this. We need to celebrate it every day, okay? And we celebrate it with danza in a beautiful way because this is healing. Our traditions are healing, okay? One elder says, La cultura cura. Culture heals. So when we know who we are, we feel stronger, we feel proud, we feel beautiful, we're beautiful. Every human is beautiful because life is beautiful and we want to respect it. And that's what this tradition does. That's what all traditions do if you go back enough and we study and learn about it. So, quick story, when I used to teach social studies, right? We did a whole month, with as much as we could, on the history of Puerto Rico in the U.S. And I had a lot, this is in Loisaida, in the Lower East Side. A lot of my Puerto Rican students that used to hate history did beautifully. They loved it. Their faces lit up. They were like, wow, I'm learning about me and my family and my island. And I was so proud for that, to be part of that. And you know what? Schools have to do that on their own because there's not funding for that yet. You need brave principals and brave teachers to say, you know what, I'm not going to teach that curriculum that I'm supposed to teach. I'm not just going to teach to some dumb test because my students, the kids, my families, my community is more than that. We're smarter than that. We're better than that. And so we teach things that matter to us. I used to protest that people only wanted to study Shakespeare. Nothing against Shakespeare, but we have our own plays, our own playwrights. I wanted us to study Piñero from the Puerto Rican Poets Cafe. I mean, there's such a history that's so rich from this culture, from this land, from this city, from this world. So I don't want to talk too much, but we do want to offer a little bit of more about danza because you'll love it. We're going to do a dance for Mother Earth. This is what we need to do. We need to come together and know who we are and also connect ourselves, to our people, to our traditions. And part of that is what we're going to do right now. We're going to do a danza. And this dance is, I want you to pay attention. You're going to see this movement, okay? So the dances that we do acknowledge nature, energy, spirits. So who can tell me what this movement, it's an animal that moves this way on Mother Earth. Who can tell me what this, that's right. See, we all know this because we're connected, the snake. So some people, in some traditions they might say, or in some teachings, because people only learn usually from one person's viewpoint, they say, oh, snakes are bad. Snakes are evil. Is this true? Of course not. Snakes are beautiful. Life is sacred. They're a beautiful animal. So we're going to dance this dance for Mother Earth, and it represents the snake on Mother Earth. It represents the snake connected, life connected to each other, being respectful, being together. So it represents a lot more. So this dance is called Coatlicue, and is to give thanks to Mother Earth, which is who we come from and where we will all go back to. We can't eat without her. We don't have a place to live without her. So we want to pray for that as well, for Mother Earth. So if there's time, we'll do a little more. But we're going to form this circle. Please no cameras inside the circle. Thank you. I get So I'm not sure how much time we have, but did you like that? So we can learn a lot through all our traditions, and I was speaking before about respect. Before we do the dance, we always ask for permission. When we did out there, we were honoring the directions. When we face each direction, we give thanks and we recognize all the people from Mother Earth, the people that come from each direction, whatever color, whatever skin color they may have. We recognize all people from all directions. We give thanks above, to the sky, to the sun, to the wind. Without the things that we wouldn't have life with, we give thanks to Mother Earth, right? So that's how we start our ceremony, and we finish that way too. Another thing that's really important, as a lot of you know, it's important to also have this education, not just be for one day. You know, you see some people maybe having a day, a cultural day. That's a start. But all our traditions, all our histories are ancient. We're ancient beings that are alive and present. So if we do one day, it's not enough. We need to do many months, years. You know, so it's not right that the kids go to school later and they start learning maybe in college about their history and their culture. We need to learn that in early education, as early as possible, and do it in depth, in with as much depth as possible. So I think we're going to pass the. Okay, thank you. So since this is an event in unity, and that unity is what's going to bring the change. So we want to recognize everything and everyone for making this possible. All cultures, all colors, all faiths, that's what this is about. Which reminds me really briefly, for one short story. We were standing one day, dressed with our headdresses, with our feathers, with our regalia, trying to get a taxi to go to dance from one dance to another. And none of the taxis would stop for us. Anyone have that experience before? Yeah, some people are laughing, right? So the taxis, maybe some were scared, maybe, I don't know. And you know, one brother stopped, and he got out of his taxi, and he came up to us, and he was a tall brother, a black brother, and he said, "May I touch the drum?" And I was so moved by that, because he said, "This reminds me of where I come from in Africa, this drum." And he had so much respect. For him, it was an honor. It was an honor. And I was so moved because that brother knew who he was. He was connected to his spirit, to his people, to his homeland. And we're all connected to that spirit. We all have drums. We all have songs. We all have dances. And before they became folkloric or cute or, you know, a celebration to one day in the calendar, they were always practiced, given to people by their elders, kept as sacred and complete. So let's keep ourselves together that way, sacred and complete, healthy and strong. Let's stay on this path because it's a long struggle and it'll always be a path that's honorable, beautiful, and right. So let's keep fighting for that educational justice, for culturally responsible education, CRE, whatever the new name is. We know what it is. We know who we are. All right, thank you. We're going to close now. We're going to close by giving thanks. We're going to close the circle the way we opened it. So if you want to, we're going to face, you can face the directions with us, east, west, north, and south. When you face each direction, you can give thanks from your heart and in your own way or ask for something. Then we thank above and then below. Again, however you want to give thanks. But please join us. And you can say Omateo if you want. Omateo means sacred duality. It means two. The sacred duality. So, okay. Thank you.
Nos despedimos y damos gracias de la energía de Huitzilopochtli. We give thanks to the energy of the south, the energy of the children. Atekakole. Oh, Mateo. Nos despedimos y damos gracias al centro por habernos permitido el trabajo de este día. For allowing us to be here today. gracias de nuestra madrecita la tierra, la que nos da la vida y que algún día dirá sus pausas para reintegrarnos a la naturaleza con armonía. We give thanks to Mother Earth, the one that gives us life, and that one day will receive us again. Atokole.
Thank you, gracias.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria here, and I'm a member of Maple, New York, and also a member of the CJ Coalition.
Soy madre de 6 niñas que estudian en la escuela pública en Brooklyn, Bushwick, comunidad multicultural.
I'm a mother of 6 girls who are going to a public school in Bushwick, Brooklyn, which is a multicultural neighborhood.
Hoy estoy aquí representando a todos los padres latinos y de color para que su voz sea escuchada.
Today I'm here representing all the Latino parents and parents of color so that our voices are being heard.
Yo como madre tengo la responsabilidad de luchar y exigir que el Departamento de Educación implemente dentro de su currículo educativo.
As a mother, I have the responsibility to fight and demand that the Department of Education implement the cultural responsive education in our classrooms.
Una educación culturalmente receptiva en los salones de clase y que el alcalde cumpla con la promesa de invertir los fondos necesarios para que nuestros maestros reciban entrenamiento adecuado para trabajar con las diferentes culturas que viven aquí en la ciudad de Nueva York.
And that the mayor fulfills his promise to invest the funds necessary for teachers to receive adequate training to work with the different cultures that live here in New York City. New York City is one of the most diverse places in the world, and that diversity must be represented and learned in the classroom.
La ciudad de Nueva York es uno de los lugares más dispersos del mundo y esta diversidad se debe aprender en los salones de clase. A mí como madre me importa y quiero que se respeten nuestras escuelas, que mis hijas reciban educación de calidad y que aprendan de otra cultura. Y necesito que se les respete la cultura a todos los estudiantes, porque estos problemas raciales son muchas veces la causa de burla. No queremos que nuestros hijos sigan enfrentando discriminación en la escuela. Debe de ser un lugar seguro para el aprendizaje y el desarrollo de nuestros futuros profesionales. Muchas gracias.
As a mother, it's important to make sure that our own culture is respected in school. I also want my daughters to receive a quality education in which they learn about other cultures, because racial problems are often the cause of bullying in schools. And we do not want our children to continue to face discrimination in school. Schools must be a safe at the Cuyahoga County Juvenile Detention Center in Cleveland, Ohio, in Melissa Smith's classroom. I am here to uplift their presence and their spirits by reading their poems and their words. It is called Figure Out My Color. The police thought I had a gun one time and they asked me, "Where's the gun? Where's the gun?" I didn't have a shirt on, so it was obvious that I didn't have a gun in my waistband, and they checked my pockets and they thought I had a gun, but I didn't. Now think for a minute, what if it was you? Stop for being brown, for being in a certain part of town, for being too poor to afford to be free. Do we even know what we celebrate today for? Is it just celebrating more of the punishing of the poor? Enslavement, rape, disease, genocide? Are these sources of pride? History lies, mothers cry for those who died. Living in a country where the flag waves for the home of the brave. Don't flee, get on your knees, please scream at me. Does anyone hear my plea to end painful legacies for people who will stand for their fellow man? Thank you.
So before we close this out, I'm going to tell you what our next steps are. Because it did start raining on our event, we can't go chalk like we had planned to. So there is a poster that is going around that I believe Maria should have. If you have not signed it, please go sign it, and we will walk that over to Tweed and leave it on their doorstep. So please go sign that poster so that we can let them know that we are serious about having culturally responsive education in our classrooms. Thank you to all the speakers. Thank you, Stephanie. That was a great poem. Thank you, Maria, Julissa. If I forgot you, please don't. Thank you for the dancers. Thank you, Simone. Thank you, everybody that came out. Let New York City know that this is now Indigenous Peoples Day. Yes. We no longer recognize and please have a great day. And we are going to walk this over for those of us who are not scared of rain. We are going to walk this over to Tweed and leave it on their steps. Thank you.
So Tweed is just one block away, so everyone, if you have not signed that poster, please go see Maria sign it. If you are holding a banner, please turn around and say you want to Tweed, and we're going to walk for Tweed and the banner.
Hey guys, I don't know if you can hear me. Let's go talk to some people once I get my umbrella situated. 1 second. One long second. Sorry. Let's look at some of the people that came out here today. I don't know if you can hear me when I'm back here, but there's a lot of different cultures and a lot of different students represented here trying to bring about change in schools. Right here by the subway, we're at Chambers Street, Manhattan. Streaming for Sudden Fire Media. Would you be interested in talking about that? why this day is important and what you're trying to bring about by participating.
Hi, my name is Anabel. I'm part of the group Sentilisli Naucampa, which means the group of the four directions, and Nahuatl, which is an indigenous language from Mexico. And we're here sharing our traditions on this very special day, Indigenous Day. So it's very important to come out.
Just gonna walk away because we're celebrating and it's kind of loud.
For us, it's very important to come out on this day where they celebrate Columbus Day, because to us, it's not something that should be honored because of the actual things that happened when he landed in the Caribbean. There was a lot of massacres, and he took over a lot of land, and there was already indigenous people in this land. So for us, it's very important to promote our culture and to let others know the meaning of this actual day. That to us, it's not to honor Columbus Day; it's actually to honor the indigenous people that were in this land before, you know, anybody from Europe came and took over. So I'm glad that the coalition is doing this work, requesting a more diverse curriculum, because it's very important for the youth that are coming to know where they come from and to know their traditions and their culture, so that they can grow being strong and actually pushing for a more diverse union, and that way we put hate and racial prejudice aside and create better communities for future generations to come. So thank you for being here today, and it's an honor for us to share some of our prayers and traditions with the community here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you have other performances coming up?
Yes. So we have other performances coming up. We're going to be at the National Museum of Native American here down by Wall Street, October 28th, which is a Saturday, celebrating Day of the Dead. So anybody's welcome to come on, and it's going to be a really nice celebration. Also sharing your traditions of Day of the Dead.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah, I'm talking to Natasha. Okay, I'm talking to Natasha about that.
Yeah, show me the poster first.
This one?
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys are still sharing like the same office space, so if I go meet Natasha, you'll be there most likely also. So
But it'd be nice to catch up. Yeah.
These ASAP kids. Remember their
Alright, we're gonna go. Alright guys, let's follow this procession. Can I ask you where we're going right now?
Yes, we're going to the Department of Education headquarters to leave a message for the Chancellor and for the Department of Education employees.
And what's the thrust of that message?
That, actually, we know that somebody has to know. Find you somebody else.
Cool.
also know that it's false. We also know what we want them to learn. We know how valuable an education steeped in their culture, steeped in tradition, steeped in understanding of all of our cultures means. We know that it means that they'll do better in school. We know that it means they'll have a better self-awareness. We know that it will help to eliminate so many of the problems that we see. And so it is upon the New York City Department of Education and the mayor to make culturally responsive education a reality in New York City public schools. Every day they should be learning this. Every day they should be learning about the contributions of those who do not just look white. Every day. Because that is what America is. America is not just Columbus. It's not. It is not just Columbus Day. It is not just a false narrative that is pushed into textbooks and is pushed upon our children. And it's time that it ends now. Teacher training, staff training, and anti-bias education is pivotal to this. People have to understand the bias that they bring into the classroom when dealing with our students and how that affects discipline rates, AP courses, gifted and talented, and how it affects how they treat our students on an everyday basis. It is not right for our children to feel like second-class citizens in their own classroom. That is not okay. So today, if you have not signed it, I expect you will. Because we are delivering this up the stairs, and we are leaving this for the chancellor, because she must know who we are teaching our children about and why that has to end. The atrocities that happened here and why that has to end. We cannot glorify people who speak about indigenous people this way. That is not okay. Because if we glorify this, what else do we glorify? Do we glorify the enslavement of people in our DOE? No. Do we glorify the rape and torture of indigenous women in our school books? No. That is not okay. But instead, we should be learning about the rich, diverse cultures of us all. No more glorifying terrorists, but now we are now glorifying heroes. Today is a national call to action for Indigenous Peoples Day. Across the country, people are holding action and saying, we choose to have local governance, or we choose culturally responsive education, we choose community schools. We choose is a national effort to uplift local struggles. And today, what do we choose? We choose culturally responsive education. Because if we're really a country that is about the people, then it's time that all of our curriculums reflect that. So today, we choose CRE, and we deliver this to the chancellor and to the mayor and say no more with a whitewashed curriculum and up with culturally responsive education. Who's with me today? have chosen the future. No longer will it be dictated. Parents of color have chosen the future for New York City public schools. And it's culturally responsive education. Museum right up the block. So check it out. Thank you, and we'll see you again. We choose CRE. 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 We choose CRE.
Anybody have markers to sign, Maria?
Oh, you're at the bottom. Yep, ERS. There's one up front. I can give you more.
I don't. I think the I'll ask a question here in a second, guys.
Got it.
So we're live streaming?
Cool beans!
Yeah.
The name of the Mexican chain over here.
I can send it to you. So, there might be a few people downstairs. But,
Guys, look at this large group. I think people are going off to other events. I know at the museum just down the street, I believe it's a national history of the American Indian, is I believe the title. There's events there. We're going to go to Randall's Island where there's a number of cultural events happening. We're going to talk to this woman. I can ask you a real quick question or two.
No problem.
We're Seven Fires Media. It's an Indigenous-led group that's streaming events all over the country.
Cool beans!
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for coming.
If there was a takeaway, if people are not in New York and they're watching this event, what would you suggest they can do if they're moved and they wanted to take action?
If you want to take action, that's a great question. For us here, it's about trying to figure out ways to push the Department of Education to take on culturally responsive education. But locally, if you want to do work around Change the Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day, find a local organization that is doing that work here in New York City. Please feel free to like and follow the New York City Coalition for Educational Justice to follow our work. We often have petitions online that we would love to have signatures on, just to show that there is a growing consensus that this is the way that we need to move across the country.
And if people do live in New York, what's the best way for them to connect and support what you're doing?
Find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter, New York City Coalition for Educational Justice. We have a website. Feel free to contact me. My name is Natasha Capers. My email is ncapers, NCAPERS, at NYCCEJ, as in New York City Coalition for Educational Justice, .org. So feel free to reach out, ncapers at nyccej.org. reach out. We would love to have you. We have citywide events often called Parent Power School. We would love to add you to our listserv to join that and to join the fight with us.
Someone just posted the link to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. There's a petition online. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alright guys, there's a few links that are popping up in the comments, and then I think I'm going to sign off and head to another event. I am not entirely sure you can hear me, probably you can, but this is near Brooklyn Bridge in New York City, and this is what some people are doing to try to promote change in their community. So thanks for watching, thanks for all you do, and hopefully you get inspired and share some news. Thanks so much guys. Have a great rest of the day. Talk to you soon.